Hi there, Titans, and welcome back to another Titan Academy video. Today we'll be talking about editing your power table. First, we'll take a look at inline editing. Then we will look at quick update functionality or bulk editing of your table. We'll discuss some of the differences between the two in terms of API calls and the interaction with Salesforce. And finally, we'll talk about some important attributes that you get when you use the quick update functionality, such as batch completed or batch changed. Let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do in order to allow editing of a column on our table is to head to the settings, to edit mapping, and then next to any field that we want our end user to be able to edit, we'll click on the three dots and we'll click on allow edit, just like that. Once you've done that, I'll save and I'll preview my project. You can see that if I hover over my account name, nothing happens, and if I click, I'm not able to interact with this. But if I hover over email or SLA, you can see this gray pencil icon, and if I double click, it will actually allow me to inline edit. And now that value is already in Salesforce. It happens instantly the moment that I focus out of the field. If I head back to my project here and I go to my integration logs, I'll be able to see that this update just happened. And if I refresh my project, I can see this value was brought back from Salesforce. Same thing goes for editing any kind of pick list value. You'll get a slightly different format in terms of your ability to edit, but the same effect will happen instantly. This will end up in Salesforce, and this goes for any field type that you use. All right, so that's how to set up inline editing. What is quick update and how can we set this up? So I'm going to head over to the interactivity of my table, and I'm going to turn on quick update. Now, once quick update is on, just a small note about the buttons that you see here. These buttons are automatically centered on the table, but if you have a long horizontal scroll, then it's possible that you will not see these buttons when you scroll, and for that reason you can turn on float quick update buttons, and then your buttons will float along with you if you have horizontal scroll. In our case we don't have that, so we'll just leave that unticked, and let's look at the difference between quick update and inline editing. Now, notice a couple of things. First of all, I still can only edit the fields that I've given permission in the mapping to edit. So that's email and SLA. I still cannot edit account. But now things look a bit different. It looks like I'm able to update all of my fields at once. And if I start typing in some kind of text, and I focus out, this value is not actually in Salesforce. Okay, we did not run a push yet. It's telling me that my value is good in terms of its validation as an email field. But if I were to refresh this now, I lose that value because it's not pushed to Salesforce. And so if I want to push it to Salesforce, I can write in a new value. And now I can click my submit. And now I can see the update was successful. And now this truly was saved in Salesforce. If I refresh, I get this value back. What's nice about the quick update is that I can update in many different places. For instance, I will update this, and I'll update this. And if I don't like what I've done, I can always revert by clicking discard, and it will revert to what I had previously. Or I can make several changes and then push them all at once. Cool. So that's the difference between the functionality of the quick update and the inline edit. Now, in terms of API calls and interaction with Salesforce, with the inline edit, every time I edit a field and focus out of that field, it pushes it to Salesforce, and so that constitutes as a separate API call each time, even if I'm updating the same record. With quick update, it all works as a single bulk push to Salesforce, and that is only one API. Now, there is also an extra feature here with the quick update that I want to demonstrate, and that is the attributes of batch complete and batch changed. One issue that you might see here when you're doing quick update is that it might not be clear to your end user that they haven't actually submitted this data when they make these changes. For example, in our case here, the buttons are all the way at the bottom of the page because I've allowed auto grow, so our table grew and the buttons are on the bottom of the page here. And as a result, I don't necessarily know that I need to click submit in order to push this to Salesforce. And so we have a way, and this is just one way of using these attributes, but we can use the attributes of batch changed and batch completed to help our end user out. So I'm going to demonstrate this quickly. I'm going to add here a message. Let's just add a text. And in the text, we'll write, please remember to submit your data, like that. Make this nice and big. Excellent. And now I'm going to write a condition on the page level based on the attributes that we're talking about here. So I'm going to say in my condition that if the batch changed equals Boolean true. And what this means is essentially that I've made some kind of edit on the table. So if I've made some kind of edit, then I'm going to affect elements and I'm going to show my text element, not following best practices and naming is why it's so important to name elements so I know what this text field actually is. But I will show that text field, show text field, or let's say warning text, and I will hide the text in the other scenario. Okay, so we can see that by default it's hidden, and that's because my batch changed does not equal true, and it won't equal true until I actually make a change. And once I do make a change, we can see here it says, please remember to submit your data, and then that will help my end user be reminded to go back and submit data. And notice once it's submitted, it's no longer changed, and this is hidden once again. Now we also have other attributes such as batch complete, and this can help you run actions after your Power Table updates are made. So perhaps you want to update something else in Salesforce when a Power Table action is made. This will help you understand that someone has actually clicked that submit button. And that's how it's done.